All right, let's sign off on what we can.
Well, tell us what your response is to what we proposed first.
Okay. Article 3, just called discipline, we're doing, you want to sign off?
No, first I want to hear the whole package.
Oh, is there a big package deal?
You can say that, I want to hear what your response to our package is.
Well, my first response to the package is...
I'll tell you what, if you want to, really, if you want to sign off one by one, why don't you start on wages and holidays? And we'll work backwards from there.
Well, I just figured we'd accomplish what we can. We're willing to sign off on 3, just like discipline. And just so you know, just for the record, I actually spent about an hour yesterday. I didn't complete it, so I didn't run it. A revised table of contents that I've been talking about where it's alphabetized. And that would include some minor name changes of the articles, just to make them make more sense. And to fall in line with the concept of advertising them, such as...
When we have a contract, that won't be a problem. We can
Sure.
work through that.
Yeah, but I just want to get it out there that, you know, so the last time, the thing was signed, sealed, delivered, never got done, so I want to get it, just while I'm thinking of it, Article 3 would be changed to discipline for just cause instead of just cause discipline, only because when you're looking for discipline under D, it would be easier to find it, things like that. All right, so, Article 16, union stewards, I see this, thing up there about union rate account. Looked okay. Probationary employees are fine. Article 19, contract negotiations. We're not agreeing to all this new language in there. This looks like it's a whole bunch of new stuff that's going to give the county the ability to deny the opportunity for a bargaining unit employee to attend. The 5 days has been problematic enough, and I see that's been increased to 7. 7 weekdays, I'm sorry, 7 calendar days, I get 5 working days and 7 calendar days, usually end up being somewhere around the same. So now 7 working days really stretches it out to be 2 weeks instead of 1 week. And so those last 2 paragraphs, we're not interested in. It's just problematic, potentially problematic. We've already had, you know, some concerns, and in this language is saying that if something comes up, you're going to deny the opportunity for someone to attend the bargaining session, and within reason, we've been, able to work out, with other employers, if something really significant comes up, there's a massive shortage of employees, or the amount of so-and-so doesn't come to bargaining. I guess if you're hurting that bad, it's one way. But they have it in writing that what it's going to end up causing me to do is just cancel bargaining, just because some supervisor wants to potentially mess with an employee. I don't know how long to go. So we just prefer to keep the language.
Well, I added language to address your concern there. The supervisor will not deny leave unless the absence will disrupt the planned operational activity. And by giving additional time, by going from 5 to 7 days, it gives more time to make that analysis. Tell the employee who could tell you, who could call Barbara, who could work something out.
Yeah.
So.
It's all of the change all at once just makes it look like it's just, the intent is to make it more difficult for people to attend.
Well, you always see the negative side of it.
No, actually, for 5 years, this little bit up here has worked. There's no need for all
It
these
hasn't worked.
3. Yeah. Yes, it has.
You haven't been here.
Yeah, you haven't been here. It's worked fine.
She's never, ever gotten all of the sheets back in. Never, it's never happened.
But that doesn't mean it's not working.
Yeah, it works. It works. We talk to our supervisors. Yes.
Not, your supervisors aren't supposed to, you guys are supposed to. It's never been done.
They don't let me do
It
anything.
That's
works.
why we're fixing it. We're gonna make
It
sure that
works.
the union, clears it and confirms it.
It works. It's worked. don't add 3 paragraphs of baloney. We don't need it.
Do you want to leave the language status quo? What if you're not doing it?
Well, I don't say status quo, what we decided on last time that we were in bargaining, which has a red and white type on there. You know, you're changing the, well, we don't have to give something to the Human Resources Department. We're talking about, it's coming from the Human Labor account. I mean, we did make some
Yeah.
changes.
And,
Well,
yeah.
we're not, now that has become problematic, so I think we need to put the HR department back in, so we need to go
We
do.
do want that.
And hey, actually, you know, we got it on tape. You said, just notify your supervisors, and that's all you have to do. We have that on tape, and it's working.
Okay,
It's
and it
working.
didn't work last week. We
It's
have
work-
on tape that did not work last week.
Fi-
Now, obviously,
5
we
years-
revisited it, so.
We've been bargaining, what, 10 years now? 12 years now, and we have one hiccup in 12
Yes,
years.
right.
No,
And you come back,
No, you don't know about all the hiccups, because we come to the table and we negotiate with you, but virtually every time a bargaining session was scheduled, one or more people didn't jump through the hoops in the right order.
We want to create more.
jump through the hoop.
It says in here.
We're making the hoops bigger, it's easier to jump through.
That hoop better be gigantic than for me to jump through it.
If you-
All right, let's move on, let's not.
Well, listen, in your proposal today, though, it says it's struck out into the Human Resources Department. Which now, I hear verbally that you do want it back in there, or I'm getting confused.
Well, no, we put it back in the second paragraph. But you will notify,
Yeah,
I just
you-
want one notification. You
get the-
notify me
you make
who's
the
gonna be there. That's
notification,
it.
John. The employee doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, I already told you that that's not my
Well,
responsibility.
you could delegate it.
My responsibility is to tell the employer who's on bargaining team.
Is there a chief steward here? Is there a chief
We
steward?
got all kinds of stewards here.
So, I'm okay if the chief steward. does it.
Some
You
are
don't do
chiefs,
it.
some are Indians, we all can. No, seriously though, I just think that if the problem is that, in the past, the email thing was problematic, that we got rid of the email thing. If the sending to the HR was problematic and you struck that out, and then that's okay. But now you want to put it back in there, that's okay too. But to have language in there that a supervisor at his own, his or her own option can just say that, listen, I've got something planned. So, okay, we're giving you 5 days notice, or even if it has to be 7 days notice, and the supervisor says, well, I can't let Tom Longman attend bargaining because I planned this transmission to be fixed 6 months ago. I can't have him go. Well,
He gets to do that now.
the bottom line is, we haven't had any problem with anyone being denied to attend. We haven't had this problem.
Okay, but I'm saying, that's right, but that's what I'm saying, but they have the ability to deny you right now. I mean, it says a request for leave without pay must be submitted, it absolutely can be denied. I mean, the supervisor every time could turn it down. We don't have that happening, but also it says
What the current
minimum
language
of 5
says, up to
days.
6 employees designated by the union shall be granted excused leave, okay, without pay for meetings at times mutually agreed between the county and the union for the purpose of collective bargaining negotiation, period.
Okay, a request for leave without pay must be submitted by email at least 5 days prior to the leave of
Right,
absence.
so what happens when the employer, not that it ever has, the employer says, you can't attend? Well, why is that?
I had language to address that, okay? That the-
We don't have language in there
The
now.
supervisor won't do that unless there's a planned operational activity.
I understand that.
And
You're
here's why,
saying
John.
that,
John,
she's inferring that the supervisor has that right now, and I'm saying it doesn't. It's very clear in the current language that you're going to be granted excuse leave. It's a procedural thing. I have to submit a leave request gets signed. Okay? If I submit a leave request and the supervisor says, I'm not signing it, why is that? Because I got a transmission you need to fix next Tuesday, and you're not coming. That has never happened, and the current language doesn't allow for that.
Okay,
The
well,
current language says you submit it and you sign it.
Okay, then we definitely need to fix that, because what you're saying is, in no case can an employee supervisor ever deny them leave because of a major project. Then we absolutely need to address that and
We've
fix that.
never had a problem with it.
I agree, but, you know, what if there's a water main break and they say, hey, I need you here? You're
We'll
telling me
cancel
right now, we don't do
bargaining.
that.
We'll just cancel bargaining.
Well, yeah, I think you can bargain with 6
I bargain
instead of
with-
7,
I
or
bargain
5
with who I
instead of
want to
6.
have on my committee, the same way you choose who's on your committee.
That's right, but if Stephanie were out sick today, we wouldn't cancel bargaining because
That's your
Stephanie's not here.
choice.
That's
your
right,
choice.
that's exactly
If
right.
there's 2 or 3 people out on my committee, or even if there's one key person, I may decide to cancel bargaining, or I may decide that I don't, that's my choice.
And that will totally be your choice, and we're not taking that away from you, but
That's all-
you
that's
have
all-
to, but
that's the point I was
if
making.
all of a sudden, you know, 4 buses go down and Tom's got to fix buses today, I mean, that's more of an emergency for us at the county. And what you're saying is, in no instance can we ever tell an employee that they're not necessary, or even in the case of an emergency or a line break or
I'm saying
something.
it has never happened.
I agree with that.
What about with the supervisor who gets a request from an employee, just happens to have a hard on for that employee, and says, I'm gonna have you clean the bathrooms in 5 days from now?
That's ridiculous. I mean,
It's not ridiculous, supervisors are doing it now, they're not refusing.
You just
but
told me it's never happened. How can you say it's happened and it never happened?
Supervisors are giving our members a hard time every day of the week.
Let's take a pause here a second. Let's not find a way not to reach an agreement, okay? So let's put this aside for a second and see what the rest of your comments are on the proposal.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Let's not find a way to not reach an agreement. That's a great way to phrase it. By throwing 2 new paragraphs of stuff in there that were never in there before, and all of a sudden we're supposed to agree with, that to me is looking for a way to not find an agreement. So I like the way you phrase that.
But you're not adhering to the current contract, so unfortunately, the current contract is not working because it's not being adhered
One time,
to. It's not one time,
one
it's a
time,
lot of
because Frank
times.
Pilgrim heard you say that you don't have to give 5 days notice. That's what he
I
heard you
never
say.
said that. I absolutely never said.
Did you ever say that there was gonna be no retro, or that we were going to be getting retro, but that's gonna, don't worry about it, you're gonna be getting retro? Do you remember saying that?
No, and what I.
We have it on tape, Barbara.
Okay.
We have a lot of things on tape that you said, that
John,
you probably don't recall.
you're only proving the point that we're trying to make with adding more detail to how it gets done, is that the detail is necessary, okay? So that there's no misunderstanding about what the employee has to do, what the supervisor has to do, and what you have to do as the
I'm not
individual
interested in doing
that
anything
schedules
more than I already have
or
been
can
doing.
cancel. Because the employees can't cancel bargaining, only you can.
What is the time?
Hang on, you're creating contract language dictating what John has to do. That doesn't work in my world. I don't dictate contract language for what you have to do. So let's just move along. Article 20, we're fine with the revisions at hand. Article 21, status quo. Same language as found here. Article 23, says the committee that proposed is okay. Workers' compensation, or rejecting at this point, unless we can reach an agreement with everything else. And, I'm just putting that out there that, we would consider it. Voting on promotions, we would just prefer to leave the language as it is. If there's ever an event that, you want to engage in giving people more money, I'd just like to have an opportunity to find out why. If there's extenuating circumstances, I would certainly like to see what those are. Once again, this is a matter of, it's brand new language today on the day that we're supposed to be getting this thing done. So,
No, that's not true. You rejected our every single proposal that we've had up to this point has had language in it that was, and you rejected the language the last couple times, but it's always been in there about the increases above that, or some language to that effect that has discretion by the HR director.
well, my comment was that there's brand new language in there today that wasn't in there last time.
Because we're still negotiating, and we didn't reach an agreement on 30.
I don't disagree. All right, so, 46 counting here.
That's 46.
Maybe that was what the mistake was. Maybe you guys put in 44 instead of 46.
What's 46?
46 is employee performance evaluation. It's still technically open, but we agreed last time that we're gonna be okay with leaving it as it is. I think that's probably where the why 44 was put in, 46. 47 we're okay with.
52 and 53, I just gave you more.
Okay.
And there's copies.
What is this one, 52 and 50?
52 and 53.
Is this a multi-page? You got that one?
Yeah, Frank will have one.
Yeah, but no, you put up one.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Frank.
I think that all goes together.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I need,
All right, he does need that.
Ed, you got one?
Yes, I do. Thanks. I got Frank's.
He's got one, you got one.
no, it's all one.
Pick them up and put them on. Yeah, that would probably would be able to see anything.
All right, anybody not get a 53? I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get a 53.
Should have 4 pages there.
Yeah, didn't get
Total
it.
4 pages there.
Didn't
He
get
needs it.
53. Did you get it?
Yep.
All right, so in the last two paragraphs on the first page, on page 76, we added the clause, unless the employee and supervisor agree on another date for the next 6 months, and then carried that same clause over to the last paragraph on the page. So shoot for 30, but the employee and the supervisor could agree on another date, but that should be within within 6 months.
Well, I've been hearing reports that now, I don't know, it's everywhere, or certain places, that some employees are, who are required to work on their, on a holiday, that's a day off. Have also been paid, I guess, work on a day that they're scheduled to work. So it will be the paragraph in the middle with the yellow type. Employees who are required to work on a designated holiday may, with the approval of the supervisor, take an alternative paid day off within the next 30 days. And they're getting time and a half in the next day. But that's what the current practice is. That's what I'm hearing from my committee.
It shouldn't be. That should not be happening. That's clearly not what the language is. And I don't believe that's happening anywhere. If it is, it's an error.
Anybody at the table have that happen, or we just, is this, it's happened to you? You've been paid time and a half?
And give it another
And
day
given
off.
another day off?
Yes.
What about you, Jim?
Recently?
When I was still working, yes. As recently as 8 months ago, maybe. What about you?
Well, no, because we have the, you work the holiday, you get time and a half. But you're kind of talking about that floating thing, that you got an extra day if your day off or something. You never got that.
If the day off was, if the holiday, I'm sorry, was on the day off.
On your day off, you were given an extra day. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, we never got that part.
It shouldn't be happening. If you're
So-
overpaid, we'll agree not to go back and take it away.
Let's fast forward. Do you have a counter proposal, or you're?
I was just asking what your
Okay.
understanding is. What your position is, that shouldn't be happening?
No, definitely not.
It shouldn't, and it won't.
Well, now it won't, if this language is agreed to, right?
Well, even in the current language, it's not,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be happening. It's not what the career service manual says, it's not what the contract says. So it should not be happening at this time. If it's happening, the department is processing an error, and we'll make sure it's not occurring again.
Okay, Article 53, making some changes.
So 52 is rejected.
I didn't say that, I just want to
53?
what did you change on this one?
Nothing. Oh,
yeah,
the implementation.
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 I'm going to pull my committee out of the hall for a minute.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.
Yeah. Unless you guys want to do all the rest of you.
What?
Unless you guys want to
We'll
do all the
step
rest
up.
of you, there's only 3 of you.
Yeah, we'll step